What's going on, everybody? My name is C4. Welcome back to the channel, and today, very excited to bring you our newest Madden 25 realistic rebuild, as voted on by you guys in the comments of our last realistic rebuild. We are going with the LA Rams, where we have a minimum of 5, maximum of 10 seasons to take a roster that is incredibly interesting. I think, honestly, out of all the teams in the NFL, this might be the most interesting rebuild that exists today. And we're going to try and get these Rams back to a Super Bowl and to win a Super Bowl. Just very, very quickly before we carry on with the preview and the intro to this rebuild, today's video was supposed to be pink slips. I am not forgetting about pink slips. Episode 1 dropped. You guys voted. You guys came out. The masses came out. I'm very excited to get on with that series. Unfortunately, today, which is a Wednesday, Madden just released a title update. Pink slips is heavily modded, and every time that a new update comes in Madden, all those mods need to be remade. It's not a super long process, but I just can't, burn a whole day not working. So I'm going to be recording Wednesday and into Thursday this Rams rebuild, which means I'm not going to have the newest episode of Pink Slips until Friday. To make up for that, I'm planning on doing maybe a Pink Slips Friday and then a Pink Slips Sunday, like get kind of, pick the pace up just a little bit, because I will have the mods back and ready to go. But that's just a quick little update if everyone was waiting on Pink Slips and you see this rebuild. I was going to record Pink Slips today, and it was going to drop today on Wednesday, but Madden being Madden, can't do that right now. Got to wait. So back to the Rams. What makes this such an interesting rebuild? Well, I want to start with the defense. The offense and the defense are almost complete opposites. I think when I look at this Rams defense, you could make a legitimate argument where you got Fisk, 80 star dev at the end of his rookie season. You have Kobe Turner at 26, one of the more underrated pass rushers, especially for a 3-4. He's headed towards his prime. Got Byron Young in his prime. Now, he was an older rookie, but still on his rookie deal with freak athleticism. He's a beast. Cam Curl was great business, stealing him away from the Commanders. Cam Kitchens ends his rookie campaign as a 77 star dev. And then you have the defensive rookie of the year. I don't know how he's only a star dev, but you got Jahdae Barron, 86 star dev. Indirectly, there's your Aaron Donald replacement. You lose Aaron Donald, you get a borderline, I think probably after he played last year, blue chip pass rusher on that defensive side of the ball. Now, I'm not going to open up a biased Eagles debate about whether or not I think Quinyon Mitchell or Cooper Kupp should have won defensive rookie of the year. I think Quinyon should have got a lot more respect. I think it was razor close, borderline a 1A, 1B between Verse and Quinyon Mitchell. But no robbery. I can't, it's not something I'm getting hung up on, because Jahdae Barron was an absolute beast. And I saw firsthand, talked a lot of crap coming to Philadelphia. And for the most part, he backed it up in that game. Maybe the run defense could use a little work at a Saquon, just going for 400 yards freaking every time they played. But as far as a pass rusher, you have a very, very scary one on our hands with Jahdae Barron. We just got to get that dev tray, man. He's got to be at least a superstar. So all in all, we find a couple corners, which will be a priority in the draft. We find a linebacker or two. This defense is going to be humming for most of this rebuild, as long as I can keep them all together, salary cap included, right? However, and you look at the offense, it's like the polar opposite. This is a aging offense. Dotson's getting near the end of his prime. Robert Havenstein, Higbee is getting up there in age. Likely need to be, think about their successors at some point. You have Cooper Kupp, who's on the trade block. We will be trading him away. That is going to be part of the challenge in this rebuild. Only a couple years removed from being regarded maybe as the best wide receiver in the NFL. He's definitely the most productive wide receiver in the NFL. It's kind of a weird thing. I have no idea what kind of salary cap situation I'm getting in here with the Rams. I always kind of assumed the Rams were like decent in a salary cap standpoint, especially because of, Aaron Donald, and they're just not that long removed from, shipping off Jalen Ramsey and freeing up some money. But okay, maybe there's money issues. If not, why not keep Cooper Kupp? You're arguably the second best team in the NFC. It seems like Cooper Kupp is an asset, even though he's trending towards wash territory. Honestly, his drop-off kind of reminds me, and it's, it is what it is. But Jordy Nelson. Remember, Jordy Nelson was insane, and then just gone. Dropped off. Significant. And maybe a little bit of that for Cooper Kupp, and I'm not just making that comparison because of the obvious. It's just the last thing that comes to mind, where it's just you go from oh man, this guy's one of the best in the league, to holy, he's a role player very quickly. But there's going to be some value there for Cooper Kupp. We're going to try to maximize that value. Matt Stafford's also been in some trade rumors. I think the Giants was there. I'll tell you right now, I'm not trading him. Cooper Kupp, all right, we'll embrace that. Matt Stafford, I'm going to run him into the ground. I don't know how many years I get him. I'm hoping we can get like at least 2. He still could technically retire this first offseason. I don't think he will. But in my opinion, Matt Stafford, he's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. He's at 5. Like, you know, you go tier 1 for me. QB tier list ranking, C4. Lamar, Mahomes, Josh Allen, firmly tier 1. I have Joe Burrow as like a tweener between tier 2 and tier 1, but we'll put Joe Burrow into tier 1. There's 4 quarterbacks in my tier 1. Tier 2, I currently only have 2 quarterbacks in my tier 2. 1 is Matt Stafford. I put him at the beginning of tier 2. 2 is Jalen Hurts. Bias, I get it. It's open for debate. My guy wins. Doesn't need to throw to put the big time numbers that some of these other quarterbacks have. But Stafford, I have him as my number 5. I think the arm talent, generational arm talent, maybe the best arm the NFL has seen since Dan Marino. I mean, I'm looking at this as we could still win. I still want to win. And as long as Stafford's on the roster, I think we have a chance to win. Which is why it makes it so confusing. They're like, why? They're just like, yeah, we're getting rid of Cooper Kupp. You have a good thing. If he could stay healthy, Kyron Williams, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, they're an absolute problem. But you seemingly want to nerf your offense here a little bit, take a step back to embrace a little bit of a rebuild, because there's no way this Rams team's going to be as good next year without Cooper Kupp than what they would be with Cooper Kupp. And that's going to put a little pressure on us for the draft. I thought it was going to be an easy slam dunk. We got to go corner. Maybe even corner with our first couple picks. Now, moving on from Cooper Kupp, can Puka Nacua do it by himself? Probably not. We're going to need a wide receiver too before too late. So I think all those things make this such an interesting rebuild. An aging offense, a incredibly high upside defense, how you can balance that, how you can manage that roster. I think this is going to be a fun one. So without further ado, let's get into our first offseason here in year 0 of our Madden 25 LA Rams realistic rebuild. Look at the Rams salary cap. We only have $110 million. Yeah, let's get rid of Cooper Kupp. That makes sense. Start by bringing back Demarcus Robinson. Great role player. Loved him, man. He was very good at the Florida Gators. Kind of faded near the end, but I always saw the potential there. I'm happy that he's had a very, very solid NFL career. We'll get him back on a 1 year, especially with moving Cooper Kupp. At least we have a weapon, reliable set of hands. I'm going to bring back Rosebu at middle linebacker. He's 28, so I'm going to get him on a 2-year deal, and it's just in case the draft doesn't fall our way for a linebacker. He's serviceable for the time being as a Band-Aid. Bring and keep the Canadian Neville Gallimore. I think he popped a little bit. He's 28. Another just 2-year deal, placeholder until we can find a successor. We're going to bring back the veteran Rob Havenstein on a 1-year deal. A lot of Band-Aids that we were bringing up, but Band-Aids are what keep the dream together. I'm going to get another Canadian. I mean, surprisingly, a lot of Canadians. You got Neville Gallimore, re-signed. We got Michael Hoyt, 27. He's a 74 edge rusher. 3-year deal. Bobby Brown, 25-74 nose tackle. 3-year deal. Very reasonable as well as like $20 million. I'm going to keep Tutu Atwell here on a 2-year deal. I mean, he was one of their higher draft picks a couple years ago. Especially we're moving on from Cooper Kupp. In case the draft doesn't fall our way, maybe it'll be his opportunity that he has to be a starter. And only a 2-year deal, so that if it doesn't work out, he's just kind of average like he's been in his career. It's no sweat off our back. We're going to get the other Canadian, Alaric Jackson at left tackle. 3-year deal. He's 27, 77. He's developed into quite a successful player. I mean, he was pretty damn good at Iowa as well. Didn't test well during the combine process. I'll keep all the Canadians. And we have found our trade partner for Cooper Kupp. I think the Commanders are going to be just hyper aggressive for pretty much any and all upgrades. Cooper Kupp with Scary Terry gives them a win now, trying to win with Jaden Daniels. We're able to get a 3rd-round pick next year and a 4th-round pick in 2 years' time. So we're going to have to wait a little bit to recoup the value that we got in this trade. But I think that's reasonable value for a 32-year-old wide receiver, even one that can make as big an impact as 85 superstar dev Cooper Kupp. We have decent money, but corner's really the only position I'd want to spend money on. There's a couple interesting players. Amik Robertson, Isaiah Rodgers, 27, 27, 26 for Christian Fulton, but none of them have dev traits. And I don't think like they're drastically better than what we currently have. Like I was really hoping you'd get like, you know, a guy in the 80s with like a star superstar dev, because we have $55 million of cap, but with not a great role in free agency, I think we just roll that money over. So looking at the final mock draft ahead of the 2025 NFL Draft, we had to wait all the way to the bottom and looking at some of these corners and wide receivers that are hopping off the board. I hope like a Ben Morrison could slip. Tight end could be a surprise pick. Colson Loveland. I scouted Barrett as a first rounder. Loveland's going at 20. Kenneth Grant at nose tackle will be another need. He's going in the first round. Ravel is projected to go in the first round. We are mocked to get Ursery at tackle. You know, we got Havenstein on a one-year deal. I'd like to get someone that can play as a rookie, but if the board falls as such, you know, we might have to. Okay, I do think if we're doing this whole, like, let's trade and future-proof and all this stuff and get picks, future picks, I think the way that we can utilize those future picks is trading up. And the corners are going on a roll right now. Kind of following the mock draft. It's a little out of order still, but I do think corner is still a big need, and we still have Jahdae Barron, legit first rounder. I want him. I want him real bad. How far? How many picks can we sim before he's gone? Who do we need to call to move up? Let's call our old friend the Falcons. All right, so literally throwing in the Cooper Kupp trade doesn't even get us close. And offering like the most amount of picks I could offer, still not there. So let's pretty much do this for every team that's picking, for every pick that Barron remains on the board. Finally, this weird, odd combination allows us to trade up 7 spots in the first round with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's going to cost us our first round pick this year, our 4th round pick this year, our 5th round pick next season, and then in 2 years' time, it costs us a 3rd, a 4th, and a 5th. Luckily, we have 2/3 and 2/4 in 2027, so some of that is from the Cooper Kupp trade. You know, it always makes me wonder, could I have just flipped my first round pick in Cooper Kupp to move up in the draft? Probably could have, and in hindsight, should have done that. But now all eyes go towards Barron at corner. If he has a normal dev, I'm going to be very mad, and this rebuild couldn't have started any worse. And honestly, to be fair, Loveland's still on the board, and you can make the argument, I mean, tight end, Higbee is only going to be regressing from here on out, and Loveland is a bona fide stud. A catching traffic, a deep route running, legit first round talent. Maybe not a prolific athlete, but an outstanding route runner. Reminds me a lot of Zach Ertz. But we did all this to get a legitimate baller at corner. Now, he's kind of, the draft community's kind of split on him. Some people have him as a top 10 pick. Other people have him as like a fringe first, second rounder. I think the athletic testing, because he is a sub 6 foot tall corner, he needs to test well. If he runs like a 4.3, I think it's going to check out. But we got to see what the athlete, because he's, as far as a football player, really, really good football player. Great tackler, does the dirty work that you like to see out of a corner. Oh, I just need a dev trait. Give me a dev trait on a first round talent profile, and I can live with it. And the trade up is worth it from a true value standpoint. He's number 17 in true value. Get him a pick 19. Next round. I was kind of hoping here, we didn't have a second round pick, so we had to wait all the way to the 3rd round, that a Jalen Milroe, Quinn Ewers would still be available, because I think that'd be a nice little option to bring in as a developmental quarterback. We get Will Howard, who's obviously his national championship run, and he has NFL traits for sure. I just don't think from the standpoint of our roster, if him, McCord, Dylan Gabriel, any of these guys are going to offer much different than what we have in Stetson Bennett as like a question mark successor type deal. So I think we're going to avoid the QB position. So outside of that, as far as needs, middle, like a true, like an off-ball linebacker would be interesting. And got Jack Kaiser there, but not a Demetrius Knight, Kobe King. Either these guys run fast. We got D tackle. Decent athleticism here on Demetrius Knight. Kobe King from Penn State, B tackle, B block shed. Also not very prolific. The other option, offensive tackle with Havenstein getting older, but there's just not a good, you're not going to get much at the ass end of the 3rd round for a tackle. At tight end, you have Mitchell Evans, who at one point over the last 2 years was regarded as potentially an elite tight end prospect. Injuries and stuff like that have piled up at Notre Dame. That could be interesting. I'm not getting the vibes that there's much here for, like, trying to sniff out a dev trade. You got Ayo Manor. I've used him in rebuilds recently. I'd probably would make that pick because he can block. He likes to run block. You know what? Screw it. This is a Rams pick. Run blocking wide receiver. That's what we're going to make. 106 at 90. We do pull a dev trade. Let's go. So looking at our draft recap, you know, didn't have a lot of premier picks. Made a big gamble to get Barron at least. If you're going to be pulling a normal dev, 76 from a just pure overall standpoint. Has him as a starter for us next year. And hopefully we can get a bunch of picks and get him a defensive rookie of the year nod and maybe get a dev trade that way. Manor, 70 hitting dev in the third round is great value. I know I've used, I can't remember which rebuild it was. Couple rebuilds ago, because I remember he caught a huge Super Bowl touchdown. But he is a perfect Ram wide receiver. So in situations like this, there's no necessarily written in stone rule that I can't reuse players. I just want to be, you know, use my own discretion at it because I don't want things to become repetitive. But he is a perfect fit for the Rams. So happy we're able to bring him in. Got a couple depth moves. Got Jason Marshall, former 5-star recruit corner from the Florida Gators in the 6th round, 69 normal. But only so much you can do with a limited draft haul here. And I think we did relatively decent with our first 2 picks. God damn it. Why do I never record? Okay, so usually when I'm just chilling, like I'm not even going to record the next year 1 yet. I got to go get my kid for school. I just play the training camps. Just got a dev trade increase. Why? It's never when I'm... We got with a rookie, Manor. Doing the red zone drill. Nice. We have an interesting depth piece and an interesting offer there from the Dallas Cowboys, offering us a star dev 72 and a couple late round picks for Jonah Jackson, 28.75 with a star dev trade at right guard, which he's a upgrade at right guard for a lot of teams in the NFL with still some decent upside in his prime. I think we'll take advantage considering inside linebacker is a position I want to strengthen. So let's go. Appreciate doing business with you, Dallas. So the midway point of year number 1, our squad, we were feeling pretty good. Now, winnable matchups, probably the 2 most winnable, maybe even 3 most winnable stretch on the schedule. Handle business against Carolina. Kick the shit out of the Jacksonville Jaguars, 49-10. In a matchup where Matt Stafford is, showing no signs of regression. I'm going to be Rashee Rice with 257 yards, 4 touchdowns casually. On the side of the screen, there were Matt Stafford with 6 touchdowns. Ageless wonder at age 38. So take a look at our contracts. I'm pretty sure we're going to see Stafford's name on this. I feel like. Could be wrong. Could be right. I am wrong. Okay. Well, we have $122 million. We have some interesting decisions to be made. I will say right now, I focus scouted tight ends under the assumption that we are going to have to revamp that room. So I'm not interested in either Parkinson or Higbee. I think because generally we stick out of free agency, at least early in the rebuild, having Stein on a 1-year deal as long as he doesn't retire, at worst he regresses to like a high 70s, which is still more than serviceable and gives us another year to find a longer solution. But to get Cam Curl on a 4-year deal, so we lock him in for the remainder of his prime. And this is the interesting one. We have a talented running back in Blake Corum on the roster. Killed it, was one of the best running backs in college for Michigan. But Kyren Williams, one of the great success stories of the NFL. There's a point in time he was highly regarded as a running back prospect out of Notre Dame. Then he just had terrible testing. Had an all-time worst draft process that had him just slip down boards. And the Rams took a gamble, and he's been one of the most consistent running backs in the league. 25 years old, 87 with a superstar. See, the problem is, my problem with paying running backs, and I think we may have to incur a higher cost. I just don't know how well, we're throwing the football like crazy. Is this Rams team going to be something that offense is going to be good, but we just don't use running backs? A running back will always get between 8 and 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns at RB1. Be it Kyren Williams or Blake Corum, because our offense is pass first with Stafford and whoever we get to succeed Stafford. So I need to see the bigger sample size of what goes on here for the Rams. Maybe we can get vibes from where we're at right now, and just guess the pace that Kyren Williams is on. Because right now, Matt Stafford is killing it. Playing like a top 5 quarterback in every sense of the word. Now, interceptions are kind of high. But Kyren Williams, 600 yards, 8 touchdowns. So he does feel like a guy that touchdowns are pretty good, but yardage-wise, it feels like there's going to be some years he goes over 1,000. Some years he goes under 1,000. Do you want to pay that top tier running back money? I don't know. I'm going to say right now, at the risk of him going up a couple more overall points and that contract costing a little bit more, I want to wait and see. And if he's going to be a guy that can get us 1,000 plus, double digit plus, we have the cap to pay him. If not, I think we'll have to let him walk. So the end of year number 1, 11-6 for the Rams. A win better than what we had and the Rams inherited in year number 0. That crashed and burned in the playoffs. And we got a chance to go on another playoff run. And what could, and pretty much every year from here on out, could be the final year of Matt Stafford's career. But if this is the case, at 11-6, he's going out strong. Top 5 offense, top 3 passing offense. Our defense was not that great, to be honest with you. Definitely below expectations. Look at Stafford. 3rd in yards with 47 passing touchdowns. I imagine that's just behind the cheat code in Patrick Mahomes, which it is. He can't retire. You can't retire on a year like that. Now, interceptions, it's not great. 22 picks is a lot. And it's weird. I don't know. I feel like he should get a dev trade. He's on, but those picks, his age, you might break even if he gets the dev trade. The game might take it away. But regardless, they're not huge numbers for Matt Stafford. Our run game is, that's a tough call. I always felt like just setting the requirement 1,000 yards, double-digit touchdowns for Kyren Williams to get the contract extension. But we also have so much money that, the drop-off. Is this one of those deals that if we let Kyren Williams walk, Corum as a starter, is he going to get 700 yards, 8 touchdowns? You know what I'm saying? There's definitely value in keeping Kyren Williams. We got tough decisions to make because, we're going through Puka Nacua. 109 catches, 1,500 yards, 27 receiving touchdowns. Breaking a record previously held by Randy Moss. Shout out Myles Garrett as well, breaking the sack record this season. But that's another situation to not pay Kyren Williams, because you pay Kyren Williams, that's just less money you have to pay Puka Nacua. We have to give him a contract extension. And if it becomes tight, budget-wise, because we paid a running back, knowing that Puka's extension is going to be absolutely insane, that's not good roster management. So, we got to balance out a little bit here. Amenor, the rookie, who got that superstar dev in training camp. Another diamond, another home run for this Rams front office. 100 catches, 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns. 8-5 from Tutu Atwell. That's a good campaign from him as well. And on the defensive side of the ball, Omar Spates. One of these just kind of no-name dudes. Man, I remember Omar Spates. I remember he was a tackle machine in the Pac-12 at Oregon State. I didn't know he transferred to LSU. Doesn't even get when you don't even get a profile picture and you're absolutely playing like a dog. That is awesome. Sack front, 11.5 sacks from Kobe Turner. 8 from Jared Verse is a little disappointing. 10 TFL, 7 sacks for Braden Fisk is more acceptable. But we need to get more out of Jared Verse. He's a star def. He deserves to be a superstar, but he ain't going to get that depth trade increase playing like that. 5 picks from Kobe Durant, who, of course, is the one corner they're about to let walk to free agency. He might get the dev trade, and we might have to extend him. Barron with 2 picks for the rookie campaign. 3 TFLs, 75 tackles. Not too bad. Okay, I'll tell you right now, though. I get he threw some picks, but 10 for the kind of year that Matt Stafford had in MVP voting is disrespectful. And with 27, where's Puka? He had record-breaking year. What are we doing here? Now, Puka on that superstar dev gets Offensive Player of the Year, 100% locked to be an X factor come season's end. Credit for how well the rookies played, because I thought Amenor was a cakewalk for winning Offensive Rookie of the Year, but 3rd behind Judkins on the Cowboys and Cam Ward, who went to the Saints. Puka also wins a Wide Receiver of the Year. So we're going to need Matt Stafford not to turn the football over and to find Puka Nacua. And we should get a playoff victory here against the New Orleans Saints and go on a run. We are ready. Look at that. 1 point. Razor thin over Cam Ward, the rookie, and the Saints, who had a hell of a year overachieving with Kellen Moore at head coach. But McVay is oh, come on, man. Why the turnovers? Matt, Jameis Winston, Stafford. Run game non-existent. Puka is the consistent. Our team right now is Puka Nacua. Defense didn't really show up either, so not inspiring a lot of confidence that we're going to be able to go on here and in a revenge from last year, take on the Philadelphia Eagles at Lincoln Financial Field and have it be a different result. We got to respect the Eagles. They are the bullies of the NFL. They are the reigning, defending Super Bowl champions, so we got to make sure that even our role players put their best foot forward so we can come out of this one victorious and feature in the NFC Championship game. Damn. Another close one. 33-30. Stafford, 3 touchdown player of the week. We got Emmanuel Forbes, former first-round pick of the Commanders. He is our corner 3. That's cool, getting a pick 6. But no matter what way you cut it, no matter how many different rebuilds I do, anytime you get offensive and defensive player of the week in the playoffs and still lose, oh, it's so dumb. So hopefully this isn't the last time Matt Stafford suits up for a Rams game. But in case it does, and he does retire when we skip to the next part of the offseason, 64,000 yards passing, 424 touchdowns, 210 picks. We just saw Super Bowl weekend, the first ballot Hall of Famers get in. And Eli Manning was left off that list. And there's many people that don't think Eli Manning's a Hall of Fame quarterback, even though he has 2 Super Bowls, even though he had the longevity to get some pretty good stats all time, even though maybe individually every season Eli Manning was a fringe top 10 quarterback. But, there's a debate right there. Is Matt Stafford a first ballot Hall of Famer and or a Hall of Famer? I think maybe not first ballot, but, body of work says maybe Hall of Fame. Has his Super Bowl. I think the stats speak for themselves. Statistically, he's right up there. I think from a pure talent standpoint, playing the quarterback position, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. But that's an interesting debate. Does Stafford get in first ballot and or at all, in your opinion? Let me know in the comments. One more year Stafford? Rob Havenstein retires, so that does create a hole on the offense that we have to go out and solve. I did give him the contract extension in season for strictly this case, so that we have a band-aid at right tackle, and it's one less position we're going to have to find in the draft. But I will trade that for one more year of Stafford. So as we clean our lockers, big news offensively, positive and negative. Positive is Puka Nacua, after a record-breaking campaign, is up to an X Factor as expected. The bad news is Matt Stafford, Father Tom. We did get him back for 1 year, but at what cost? As he regressed. I think he was an 82. He drops 8 points. Looking at the regression here, we lose the dev trade as well. 30 attributes regressed. It's pretty harsh, but we get one more year Stafford. Quickly looking on the defensive side of the ball, do get a couple dev trade increases. Spates at linebacker goes up. Durant, who's set to be a free agent, goes up. Really, really wish that was the first round pick. We traded a lot of picks to go get. Bummer is, man, we got to get Jared Verse going, man. Jared Verse needs to become X Factor at some point in this week. We got to figure it out. I offer Kyron Williams a very player-friendly deal, and he still hits me with the I'm going to go test out free agency. Well, you're going to test out the franchise tag for about $2 million less than what I was going to give you if you accepted it. Kobe Durant, 5 picks, kind of a breakup for us on the defensive side of the ball. Corner is a need, so we'll see if we can keep him for a 2-year deal. Everyone else, get the hell off my roster. Maybe getting Jared Verse to work out. Maybe. There's a lot of other bids on him. Here's my logic. My logic is we had $140 million of salary cap. We're never going to be in a rebuild in a better position to at least offer outrageous money like this. Secondarily, we have Stafford one more year, and then we're going into, for that whole year of this contract, at some point, be it if Stafford gives us one more year or whatever, we're going to be going on a rookie quarterback contract. So we're not going to have that. This would be our money. Our quarterback money would be going to Parsons because we're going to have a cheap, inexpensive quarterback. Ideally, that's the plan. Now, the interest is very, very low, so even with our top offer, you never know. But Jerry Jones lets Micah Parsons test the market. Micah Parsons, Jared Verse. Oh, boy. And with that move, we then had a very nice asset. We have Byron Young, who on a rookie contract, 81 star dev pass rusher. You don't even want to see the offers I got when I just suggested and hit the Y and see what trades were coming in. I'm going to fleece almost any team in the league. But what I am going to do is I'm going to throw in my 4th round pick this year, my 4th round picks next year. The hungriest team, which are the Jets, who are clearly, as seen by their salary cap, starved and need cheap, affordable players at their biggest position need, and we get a 2nd round pick next year. So at pick 25 into the 2026 NFL Draft, needs for the Rams. We need a tight end. We get Oscar Delp. Not a great value pick. Great value pick in the second round, I suppose. A catch in traffic, a short route running, medium tier blocker. But is that worthy of a first round pick? Considering with Havenstein retiring, we also need tackle help. Now, the only bummer is that Lee from Clemson and Miller from Clemson I've used recently in rebuilds, and I know that they're dev trait players. Try to think outside the box, scout the next best, which is Daniels. Day 3 time, I might have to cash in here on Miller because we don't need help on the defensive side of the ball. Maybe like a pure nose tackle, but even then, there's not one at that position. Corner help, keep throwing resources at that position. I don't think that's the smartest call. So I think we got to pull the trigger here on Blake Miller. Build the trenches out a little bit. Help Stafford, maybe throw a couple less picks. Value not really there, but dev trait linemen are always very good picks. All right, second round. Gotta look at, let's see if we can pick out a tight end here. We gotta be able to. Velling, be catching traffic. Athletically speaking, pretty solid. Elite strength, great speed. We have a man with a band name here out of, I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know who this would be out of Ole Miss. They have Priestcorn, and of course this is the guy. Oh, no, I'm gonna have to figure out his name. The man with the band name. Or we have the 6'7" Benjamin Brahmer from Iowa State, who has A run blocking. Combine is, poor acceleration, so not a lot of burst. Dude, I think we got to take the man with the band name. Luke Pound Symbol. Good pick, bad pick. Not bad. 85 entry value, 57, and he rolls a dev trade. I'm going to have to find out your real name, sir. Next up in the third round, I think there's actually a really, really solid value pick. Both of our starting guards are projected. Well, not projected. They are. They're in the final year of the contract. Avia and Dotson. Dotson's 29. So we have DJ Campbell here from Texas. His A pass block, B awareness. This looks like an absolute slam dunk with the first pick of the third round. Dev trade lineman. I'd take dev trade every time over true value. So take a look at our draft recap. Ultimately, feel like it's pretty strong draft from top to bottom. Some nice high 60s late. Toriano Pride. We got Fabichi Wanu. We got Deontay Lawson, the linebacker from Alabama, pulling a 70. DJ Campbell, 69 with the dev trait. Now, the tight end, I can't actually spell his official name, is Luke Haz, H-A-S-Z. He was really, really nice as a true freshman for Arkansas, I remember. Didn't know he'd hit the transfer portal, but he hit the transfer portal. Ole Miss is paying probably better than almost any school in the nation, so it makes sense that that is where you'd end up. But 71 in a dev trait there for him in the second round. And Blake Miller getting a 73 hidden dev tackle at pick 25, given the fact that we just had one retire. Kind of surprisingly, you're not going to find a much better draft there for the Rams. And we got Micah freaking Parsons. So as we start year number 2 of this rebuild, it's almost a certainty that this is going to be the final season of Matt Stafford, and we're going to have to look towards the 2027 NFL draft class for a quarterback replacement. But the good news is the skill position spots are looking maybe arguably better than when we had Cooper Kupp on the roster. A.M. Menor's only 1 overall point less than Cooper Kupp's rating was the final year they were all together. Puka Nacua coming off a record-breaking season. We brought back Kyron Williams. He's maybe playing motivated football on the franchise tag, looking for that long-term contract extension. We got a couple rookies playing. Luke Haz and Blake Miller. Campbell's got to wait his turn, but Dotson's likely going to be his final season here. We're going to let him walk in free agency, and Campbell will be the starter. Successor, however you want to break it down. Defensively, we're running it back with a young defense, and we go out and bring in, hopefully, a person that makes this defense an absolute cheat code. Micah Parsons and Jared Verse getting after the quarterback. I want to see double-digit sacks from both of them. And it only took 3 weeks, and they went over the Minnesota Vikings for Micah Parsons to say, yep, we're going to be pretty damn good here in L.A. So the midway point of year number 2, we're 4-3, above 500. Mixed bag, though. Feels like kind of winning games we're supposed to win, losing games against the top teams. So that's never... That never gives you great hope when you go into the playoffs like that. Because you might put up a good record because beating up on bad teams, but you only find good teams in the playoffs. But we will see. Maybe we get a little bit of magic late season out of Matt Stafford. $174 million of cap room. In Dotson's case, we have a successor. We're not going to lose both of our starting guards, though. Let's get Steve Avila here on a 4-year, $44 million deal. We got Kobe Turner coming on back on a 3-year deal, which is locking him in for the rest of his prime. Record-breaking Puka Nacua gets a 5-year, $172 million deal. He's likely going to be the face of this rebuild from a production standpoint. Off the franchise tag, Kyren Williams locked in for a 3-year deal, much like Kobe Turner, locked in for the rest of his prime. And lastly, we'll get Omar Speights, great success story at middle linebacker on a 4-year deal, locking him up for the remainder of his prime. You know what? In case he doesn't retire, let's at least do it right by him. We don't have a successor in place. He has a mentorship tag already. So be it starter or not, having Stafford on the roster if he wants to play one more year, given how much salary cap we have, still had $80 million. I think it's good business. So the end of year number 2, we put up the same record the Rams had in real life way back in year 0, 10-7. We've been a double-digit win team this entire time. Our rankings are real good, though. Top 10 offense, top 10 defense. Micah Parsons, Puka Nacua, I mean, they're all putting up big-time numbers. For the longest time throughout the year, Kyren Williams was showing up in those top 3 running backs from a rushing guard standpoint. As you look at Ashton Genty, absolutely crushing it for the Chargers, which we did that rebuild. Go check it out. He was that freaking good. Look at the stats. I mean, Aegis Wonder and Matt Stafford. Interceptions are just annoyingly high, but 34 touchdowns, 4,300 yards for like a 75 overall quarterback. You're pretty happy with that. 1,200 yards, 14 touchdowns for Kyren Williams, justifying the contract extension. We got 1,600 yards, 20 touchdowns, and over 100 catches for Puka Nacua. 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns for Ayman Noor. Just under 900 yards for Tutu Atwell. Definitely want to get the tight end a little bit more involved. Defensively, Omar Speights over 100 tackles with the sacks. That's what we need to see, baby. 18.5 for Micah Parsons, 12 TFLs, 11.5 from Jared Verse, 14 TFLs, 8.5 from Fisk, and Kobe Turner chipping in with 7. Ain't gonna be mad at that whatsoever. As long as these 4 are eating, I'm having a good time. Defensively, Kobe Durant leads the team with 3 interceptions. From a hardware standpoint, Puka Nacua wins Offensive Player of the Year. Micah Parsons wins Defensive Player of the Year. They also both individually get their own category for wide receiver and linebacker of the year. So we have the New Orleans Saints in the first round of the playoffs, in which could be assumed as potentially the final hurrah for Matt Stafford in his career. We know we have the better team. We absolutely have the better team. I'm fully expecting a run here to at least get to the championship with the squad that we fucking won and done. Awesome. 38-35 we lose. Puka Nacua had over 200 yards. How did we lose? I mean, when you have the number 7 defense and a pass rush as good as ours, you can't give up 38 points to Cam Ward. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can't. You can't play like that. They had the turnover, our defense. I mean, we had 2, our pass rush, Micah Parsons, big-time player, half sack and a gotta-have-it game. Your defense, as the leader of the defense, you give up almost 40 points. Damn. Final stat line for Stafford, in case he does retire, just under 69,000 total yards, 458 tutties to 229 picks. I know it counts, doesn't count because he's been Detroit more than he's been with the Rams, but technically in the record books for the Rams for most passing touchdowns. He's just not retiring. Put in Wolf of Wall Street. I ain't fucking leaving. So on the dev trade standpoint, Stafford just not retiring, but he has regressed down to a 70 overall, which, the value of him being on the roster is going to be the mentorship tag for whatever quarterback you get. We also didn't suck enough to get Arch Manning, so we're going to have to probably look at the secondary tier quarterbacks from the 2027 class. Campbell is going to be a new starter guard. He's going to be a 79 star dev, taking over for Dotson. Feel pretty good about the offense if we can land a quarterback in this upcoming draft. And on the defensive side of the ball, we get the superstar dev trade increase on Jared Verse. No one else went up or down, but he was the big one, man, that we were chasing, and he absolutely earned it this year. Him and Micah Parsons, a lethal pass rush duo. We just need them to show up in the playoffs. So I want to get ahead of the contract extension for Jared Verse. So we're going to decline that 5th-year option. We're going to let Dotson, even a good player, walk into free agency. And everybody else, peace out. We could be spenders, just to highlight. Free agency's kind of been going buck wild. Micah Parsons last year, this year, you got Hutchinson, Hamilton, Linderbaum, Queen. Big-time names, but I think with Jared Verse's contract extension looming, I don't want to be spending too much money because he's going to be very expensive. So as we take a look at the team, we need a quarterback. We, Jackson probably on the offense closest to hitting his ceiling and regressing. So I could consider tackle as a best player available. On the defensive side of the ball, can always use someone with a little bit more upside at nose tackle. Could also use a little bit more upside in the corner room. Durant is 77 at 29, so he's pretty much at the ceiling. So I think corner would be a big need as well. So I'd pick 22 in the first round of the 2027 draft. Never we're going to really be in the Arch Manning sweepstakes, which means we can kind of kick our feet up and wait for a quarterback. Question is, do we pull the trigger on a quarterback now, or do we wait to the second round? I think Johnson, Lagway. I love DJ Lagway, to be honest with you. And I feel like we could get him in the second round. I feel like maybe not waiting till our pick in the second round, but let him go a couple burners. Let's see when these two. I'm pretty confident these two quarterbacks will go ahead of him, or at least one of them will. And then as soon as the next quarterback's off the board, we trade up to secure the services of Mr. Lagway. Because we have other needs. Corner is a big need. I did scout a couple, and look, we got a stud. Bust avoided. That's why there's the good of scouting, finding bad players. But we got Des Ricks from Texas A&M, 6'2", slot corner. I think we trust the board here. Do we get a dev trait? 44 in true value, a little bit of reach at 22, and of course, much like when we drafted Barron out of Texas, no dev trait, hard to come by in the secondary. Ooh, forgot. 2 second-round picks. We have the second pick of the second round. I don't think we mess around here. I think we secure the services of the guy I want. The guy that's going to lead my Florida Gators back to the promised land. A guy with undeniable talent, even though this draft class does not show him the respect. It's not my draft class. 120th in true value to reach. But we have a 96 throw power and a dev trade and a dream. And we got Stafford, mentorship tag. Lagway is coming to a sensational environment to develop and to become that guy. So our next needs would be nose tackle or a offensive tackle. Best looking nose tackle here might be Amari Washington. A tackle, C power, C finesse, B block shed, 6'4", 320. Looks fine. Whelming, to say the least. I think I'm more intrigued by this guy, Bo Hughley out of Georgia. 6'7", tackle, A pass block, B run block, A awareness. That is all that bench press, though. I think we'll try. There we go. That's a good feel. Oh, there we go. We can work with 78 strength. So take a look at the draft recap. All in all, feel pretty happy with everyone outside this 6th round pick. Kind of sucks, but we got Mikey Matthews, 68. 70 in the 7th round on Marcus Ratcliffe at a Texas A&M. That's, and you got, 6'3". Anytime you get those 6'3" DBs, always fun to pick. Hughley, 72 with the dev trait. 69 for Lagway. That's disrespectful. At least we have the dev trait and the traits. And Rick's our normal dev. Projected, legitimate first-round pick at 22, 73. Not a bad draft. Not a great draft. Will be great, though, if Lagway becomes that guy. So we go into year number 3. The tricky balance is like, if this was real life, it's at least open to debate that you just let Stafford play this year. You let Stafford play. You have Lagway be the developmental option. Not the end of the world. But the reality is we only brought back Stafford because the mentorship tag. We also didn't get DJ Lagway in the first round, so we don't have that 5th round rookie option if we wanted to. We don't usually cash them, but it is a 5-year contract if we took him in the first round. Now, we only have 4 years. We paid Micah Parsons, we paid Puka, we paid all these guys under the assumption we got to win before it's time to pay our quarterback. So the longer the DJ Lagway would stay on the bench, the just worse our contracts and how we've kind of constructed the roster would age as this rebuild goes on. So I think getting him on the field immediately, having Stafford be the mentorship tag guy, I think that's the best balance that we have right now for the quarterback room. DJ Lagway's first career start is at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know how I like to do it on the debut performance of some of our top rookies that we bring in. Let's hop on the 6 and see how comfortable DJ Lagway looks on an NFL field in an NFL uniform. First play. Anyone notice the score bug? It's like all messed up right like since the last Madden update. And that kind of weird. Come on, DJ. First pass completion, Puka. Boom! Foot race. Foot race! Ah, there we go. Oh, no. Don't get ran over. There we go. First pass, first touchdown. Legendary shit. Slant cheese, don't mind if I do, Mr. McVay. that in. Oh, he gets popped too, but it's Manor, the Canadian. And that's 2 for 2 on Lagway. Unfortunately, that was the end of it for Lagway. Not a crazy performance in his debut, but the team overall, the run game, Kyron Williams, the defense had 2 touchdowns. You know, we have the squad around Lagway to succeed right away. And overall, even 2 touchdown performance, great start to his career. We're early in year number 3 because we declined the 5th-year option on Jared Verse, which means we want to get ahead of that. Plus, I mean, this is also another expensive period. Now, we have money with $129 million. But, like, for Bobby Brown, he hasn't really developed as well as I'd like, so likely save our money there. We don't want to pay 2 running backs as much as Corum has some upside. Alaric Jackson, the Canadian, love him, but we just drafted a hit dev tackle in the 3rd round. I think that is probably the most cost-efficient way going forward to handle that offensive line spot. Limmer at center. I think he's definitely worthy of a contract extension. He's actually one of my sleepers. I have the receipt on X that Bo Limmer would have been like my late-round interior lineman. Put him a big-time Raz, and he ended up having a hell of a rookie campaign. We have Durant, 29, no thanks. Liufau, who we got in that trade with the Dallas Cowboys. Would like to keep him around for the right price. Let's see, 3 years, 16 mil. Let's go. Got Fisk back on a 3-year deal. He's an older rookie, so this 3-year deal will take him till he's 30, locking him in for the rest of his prime. 6-year, $247 million. We have $500 million in our pass rush between Jared Verse and Micah Parsons. But they keep giving me 30 combined sacks a year. Well, that's what we're paying for. Lastly, we lock in Cam Kinchins on a 5-year deal. Huge XP scored here by Lagway, going 30 passing touchdowns this season. Still got 5-6 games left. Gets 15K XP, which is 4 total skill points. XP is pretty nuts in Madden 25. I do think Madden 26, maybe 25% less XP would be maybe a fine balance. But it's how the game's designed. We are going to take advantage of it. And at the end of year number 3, first year of the DJ Lagway, our team is stacked, 88s overall, across the board. Our rankings a little bit worse than what they were a year ago, but we still technically finished with a top 10 offense. And everything else, like nothing was too bad. Nothing sticks out like it was a complete weakness and we can get exposed for it in the playoffs. We do get our first NFC West title. Took us 3 years to get here. First year with no Matt Stafford, but take whatever way we can get it. DJ Lagway just putting up gaudy numbers for a rookie. 4,100 yards passing, 38 touchdowns. Picks are still kind of being an issue. Now he's a rookie, but we saw with Stafford, who's anything but a rookie, have high interception numbers in this scheme. So maybe that's just something we're going to have to deal with. Cost of doing business. I don't know. Kyron just gets over 1,000, 9 touchdowns. Not his best year. From a receiving standpoint, I mean, Puka's just cheat code, man. 104 catches, 1,400 yards, 19 touchdowns. We got over 1,007 for Manor, 96 from Whittington. Just don't get the tight end involved. So there you go. We're learning about this offense. Tight ends are just not ever going to get paid because they don't contribute here. Which is good to know. Spades goes over 100 tackles. We get 15 sacks from Parsons, 11 from Verse, 11 from Fisk, 9.5 from Turner. Love it. 4 picks, Durant. 4 from the former rookie, former first-round pick on this rebuild, Jahdae Barron. Maybe that's the dev trait to finally get him off that normal. 3 picks from Spate, 2 from Kitchens. Micah Parsons wins Defensive Player of the Year, kind of surprisingly. I mean, he had a great year, but it was kind of just good by his standards. DJ Lagway ran away with the Offensive Rookie of the Year award. And we got Parsons and Verse 1-2 in Linebacker of the Year voting. So let's see what the young buck can do, man. Can he give us a Jaden Daniels-esque playoff run? We get the 11-6 Minnesota Vikings here in the wild card round. And he does. 27-21 with a Spates Player of the Week performance, 13 tackles and a sack. Let's get a look at the box score and just see how did our rookie quarterback fare in his playoff debut outside of getting the win. Did he look good? 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Not bad. It's kind of the status. Like if you take like the average of the year, you know, some touchdowns, some interceptions. It's consistent. Consistency is like really, you know, you find consistency in the sim. Life's good. From a sacks front, we got 3 sacks there. We get the interception from Micah Parsons. A little bit doing it all. as a linebacker there, as we're able to get past the Vikings, and it sets up a matchup here the next round in the divisional round against the 11-6 New York Giants. Okay. Cinderella. We're literally Jayden Daniels. Rookie takes his team to the NFC Championship. We get past the Giants 21-14. Ooh. Not a great game. We got here despite DJ Lagway struggling when the lights were brightest. Run game, I mean, did get a rushing touchdown. Run game was solid. Puka helped them out. Defensively, though, it's like, all right, well, we're paying, again, $500 million for this pass rush. They better be getting after the quarterback. And in the NFC Championship game, Super Bowl on the line. Cinderella run on the line. We get the 13-4 Falcons, the 1 seed, led by Bijan Robinson. Top 5 offense. The rest of their rankings, though, like they're not dominant in any category. But we will give them the slight advantage with the experience. Damn, no way. There's no way Michael Penix went for 6 fucking touchdowns on my billion-dollar pass rush. God damn it! As we start the offseason after 19 seasons, Matt Stafford, again, debate in the comments, first ballot Hall of Famer, overall Hall of Famer. I think we can agree. Hall of Famer calls it end of the career, and hopefully, you know, your impact on developing rookie DJ Lagway will be remembered at some point, as long as our defense stops giving up 6 touchdowns in the championship game. But as we clear our lockers, the good news is DJ Lagway, superstar dev. Now, he was a star dev originally, but with his success and winning Rookie of the Year, bumps him up to a superstar. But starting as a 69 overall, 69 star dev, and ending year 1, 83 superstar. Couldn't have dreamed for a better start. Hewley's also going to take over for the Canadian Alaric Jackson at left tackle going forward, so that just gives us a little bit more of a upsidey offensive line feel. Defensively, for dev traits, Jared Verse becomes an X factor. We lose the star dev on Leo Fowl. We lose the star dev on Durant, who's about to hit free agency anyway. We gain the star dev on former first round pick, the first pick of this rebuild, on Barron. Nice. So we are operating on the rookie quarterback contract, which means if you want to be a little aggressive and go sign someone that's going to be out of contract by the time it comes time to pay DJ Lagway, I think that'd be smart. Wide receiver 3, we let Whittington walk just because I don't think we need to pay our wide receiver 3. You can probably get a, maybe second, third round pick at wide receiver, kind of facilitate that role. But I mean, the offense is rocking and rolling. I don't think there's a single area that we need to improve. Defensively, Lou Fowl always losing his depth traits, kind of a bummer. So like that could be an area. Cam Curl's getting up there in age a little bit. We need some corner help. Ricks, unfortunately, didn't have the depth trait. We'd love to get a role there, but can still use something. We need a nose tackle. That's a big get. And unfortunately, the only nose tackle great, but not necessarily great for this project, is Vita Vea, who has, if he was 87-33, I'd be a little more inclined. But the fact that he's already been regressing for probably 2 seasons now, I'd rather take my chances in the draft. Don't get a good role at corner either. Everyone there is, we'll politely say, a seasoned veteran. We want someone maybe with a little more upside if we're going to be spending that kind of money. The bad news of the draft is it doesn't look like a particularly strong corner class from a blind pick standpoint. We're a zone defense, so this guy having A in zone is interesting. Outside of that, maybe we take a fly here on Overstreet, later round pick with B zone. That's the bad news. The good news is our other need is nose tackle, and there are 3 nose tackles. Now, the value's not great. None of them are absolute studs. But 342, 333, 374 are the weights across the board. So we should be able to get someone there that's kind of legit between Hoskins and Collins in particular. Hopefully they roll dev trade. The board just kind of falls to the fact that they're the top tackles remaining. So let's see, between Collins, Hoskins, and Chambers. Chambers is, on the board probably the worst from true scouting. But you never know, because if he's the best athlete, he could have a dev trade. The other guys don't. I'd rather taste dev trade over talent, personally. His bench press is not that great. Sheldon Collins, B block shed, C finesse. He has 41 reps. No elites, which is kind of, oh, come on. Hoskins, this guy's got to bring it home for us. 374 pounds, B power, A tackle, elite excel. There we go. That's our guy. Sometimes these dudes don't have normal depth. Remember the last time we got almost a 400-pound D tackle that had 85 acceleration, 99 strength, and he was normal. And we've had a bad string of luck here getting normal dev prospects. Hopefully Hoskins is not another one to that list. Number 52 in true value at 29. Knew it was going to be a little bit of reach, but come on, let's go. 87 acceleration, 94 strength. Hell yes. And he's a Cali kid. Gonna grab a linebacker here next. Russell Barrett. Just with Leo Fowl losing his dev trade, we're gonna chase maybe the best athlete here. Number 30 in true value at 61. No dev trade. So take a look at our draft recap. Big gets with their first 2 picks. Xavier Hoskins, 73. Hidden dev nose tackle. Love the process there as well, having all the scouting, all the information on the 3 nose tackles. Second round, we got Barrett, 74. No dev trait. I got Overstreet, who was at B-zone corner, 67. We got Weary here, athletic outside linebacker from Louisville. Brings a lot of juice there, but just normal dev. That's been, you know, I don't love that that's kind of been the theme so far in this rebuild. Not a lot of great dev traits. We got Joe Cooks here, the running back out of Michigan State. Also, pretty good juice, 90-plus speeds across the board. But, man, it would be cool to flip the switch here and get some good dev trait rolls in the draft. Look at elsewhere, just to get an idea. Now we're in the generated classes. Anyone crazy? No? Pretty mid-class. It's kind of been the norm that halfway through the season, we've yet to be like 6-1, 7-0, or anything like that. It's been a grind, 4-3, and, you know, positioned well in the NFC West. Positioned well in the wild card hunt in the NFC, which is pretty good. And it feels like almost every week we've had, win or lose, a stand-up performer. Puka Nacua in a loss, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. A couple weeks before that, we got the double one there with Lagway and Kobe Turner. Week before that, week 3, the rookie linebacker Barrett with a 2-sack performance. Week before that, Frisk with a 3-sack performance. Week before that, week 1, DJ started out hot. So we've had boom performances playing at a high level. Probably should have a better record than 4-3 given some of our stand-up performances this year. Now we're getting to a point where, you know, no point in this rebuild have we had to make decisions about who to keep, who to not keep. But when we take a look at this, I would love to keep all 3 of these guys. Jason Marshall, 2576. There's ceiling there. There's upside. There's, you know, he can be core 3. You can live without core 3. We also have Barron. He's popping off. I'd like to get him maybe on a 4-year, $23 million deal. That's really, really reasonable. But $28 million remaining, though. Are we going to have enough to offer Alec Manor 5-year? We can, but look, we are scraping under the salary cap. And the salary cap will rise in the offseason. That'll give us a teeny bit of breathing room. But, you know, we got to start winning. We got a very expensive roster, and we yet to pay our franchise quarterback. So the interview number 4, the Rams at 12-5 post our best record of the rebuild. We've won back-to-back NFC West championships. We have the number 1 offense, the number 1 passing offense, a top 10 defense. DJ Lagway first in the NFL in yards and touchdowns. Ram scheme's cheesy. Interception, it's still, you'd love to see that be single-digit touchdowns, but when you're throwing it as much as we are, you're not going to find a single complaint there. We're still, with as much as that we're throwing the football, getting our thresholds met. 1,000 yards for Kyron Williams. Love to see that. We have 3,000-yard receivers. Mikey Matthews had a respectable campaign. Ayo Manor respectable, but look at Puka. 1,800 yards, 26 touchdowns. Ultimate cheese, man. This Rams playbook is pretty disgusting. Spates and Barrett go over 100 tackles. We get 14 sacks here at first. 12.5 Fisk. 11 from Kobe Turner. 9 from Micah Parsons, who, you know, I'm not going to say slight concern, but he did. And it is at that 29-30 turning point that players decide they're going to be good or bad, or going to start regressing or not. I think Micah Parsons should probably be immune to that, but we will see. Des Ricks and Barron are 2 top DBs that we've drafted in this rebuild, both with 4 picks, giving us great return on investment. The biggest robbery ever. How is first in yards, first in touchdowns, 5th? Daniels, Hurts, Allen, Mahomes. Sir, explain yourself. So DJ Lagway with rushing yards, 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns. We have, what? Jaden Daniels. So Jalen Hurts went 41 touchdowns. So 48. So we had more than Jalen Hurts. Mahomes had 47. We had more than Mahomes. Mahomes had less turnovers. Jaden Daniels had 46. And Josh Allen, 44, 50. Fifth! For our award winners, Cooper Kupp wins Offensive Player of the Year. Also gets the honor for Wide Receiver of the Year. And a first-time winner of Linebacker of the Year going to Jared Verse with Micah Parsons right behind him. At least Lagway gets an opportunity right now to take on a player that supposedly was better than him in the eyes of the MVP voting, as we got the Washington Commanders and Jaden Daniels coming to town. Battle of two of the top young quarterbacks in the NFC, let alone the NFL as a whole. And 34-31, the Rams knock out the Commanders, and Lagway just thrives. 300 yards, 4 touchdowns, flexing on him, proving he might be the best quarterback in the NFC. And in the division round, we get the Detroit Lions, 11-6. Pretty, I don't know. Nothing about them is better than us. Proved it. 21-10, and it's Lagway and Barron dominating. And it was everything. Offense, defense, we just winning football. Didn't have to dominate them. Didn't have to go nuclear and feed Puka for 15 touchdowns or whatever the hell he's been averaging all season long. The offense kept humming. The defense got pressure, stopped the run game, forced turnovers. And in the NFC Championship, it's the Atlanta Falcons, who met last year in the playoffs. They're pretty damn good. Chance to avenge it. Good offense led by Bijan, old school style run first, and their defense is, as you can see, very, very good across the board. But we're too potent. Come on! Yes! 31-24. The Rams in year 4 of the rebuild in the Super Bowl. Michael Penix, 6 touchdowns, cooked us a year ago. Still cooked us. Has maybe some secret sauce. I don't know why. But Micah Parsons, Defensive Player of the Week performance. And the Rams are in the Super Bowl. And it was an overtime thriller. Let's go. Not the biggest game from Lagway. You always want to see your quarterback out-duel his opponent. But we're able to run the football with Kyrie Williams, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Amore got himself a new contract extension this year. He played well. Micah Parsons, people were on the street. Jared Verse took over. He's starting to look washed. And in the biggest game of the rebuild, he says, actually, I'm going to lead this group. 2 sacks, sack and a half for Turner, sack from Verse, sack from Fisk, pick for Verse. Again, $500 million pass rush, finally starting to pay off. Let's get this Super Bowl. And really, who else did you think we were going to see in the Super Bowl matchup? Patrick Mahomes. Just cakewalks the MVP every year, regardless of stats, it feels like, in the Kansas City Chiefs. $500 million pass rush. Let's show up. All right, let's go. DJ Lagway against Patrick Mahomes. Opening drive Rams score. I think this could be a high-scoring game, but if it does, and it is offenses, I like to think our $500 million pass rush could get the occasional stop. That could be the deciding factor in this game. But a turnover by Lagway, immediately punished by Kansas City going down. But we respond. This is where the $500 million pass rush needs to step up. 21-21, fourth quarter. Okay, field goal. Minute 5. DJ Lagway, you want to be a legend? You want to be a legend? You got a minute to either get into field goal range or win it. We're going to go play by play. First play, good start. 9 yards, A.M. and Nor. Second play. Stone Cold Jones sack. Oh my God, dude. We're getting sold out. Are we running? Can I get him a first down? Let me just see if I can get a first down. See what they can do with that. It's just because it's the Chiefs. If there's anybody else, we let it play out. We accept the L. Because it's Chiefs cheese. Let me at least get player 2 off. Boom. 15 yards. Puka Nakua. And we make the kick to overtime. Hey, let's go. Opening ball in overtime. We find a winner. We got to stop Patrick Mahomes. There's your classic Chiefs. Refs taking the game over. We step right back. $500 million. Micah Parsons with the sack. $500 million. He's part of it. And Kobe Turner. 4th down. We got to force a punt. Points wins this. Overtime thriller. We start 5-yard run, Kyler Williams. Shot play to Puka Nacua, 27 yards. Fringe field goal range for Cardi. Got a good leg, 90+ kick power. Come on. Come on. Come on. Awesome. A little kick in the ass, a little push in the ass there to get them first down. They did the rest. Outdueling Patrick Mahomes. A 4-0 playoff run. A Super Bowl win versus the Kansas City Chiefs, a.k.a. the cheat code. I mean, we built a hell of a squad. Deserve it, Super Bowl champions. Great scheme. Perfect scheme for taking not an S-tier quarterback prospect, but a good one. Dev trait was huge. 69 overall for Lagway. Had Stafford as a mentorship, getting extra XP. McVay, one of the best offensive minds. And an overtime super, and he's getting MVP. That of shadow of a doubt. Over 300 yards, 4 touchdowns through DJ Lagway. Puka killed it. Manor killed it. Showed up clutch. $500 million pass rush. Did their job. And we got one more year left to see if we can win another one. And with this team, we're not losing anything. We should be able to run it back, if not be right in the conversation to win another Super Bowl to close this thing out. What a win. And at the end of the season, as Super Bowl champs, DJ Lagway is an X-Factor quarterback. First in yards and touchdowns. You know, Super Bowl MVP. Earned it. Deserved it. Love seeing this as a Florida Gator fan. Expecting huge things out of DJ Lagway in the future. No other depth traits up or down on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, Barrett was hitting Barrett actually wasn't anything. He was a normal dev. Good normal dev pick. Had a hell of a season. And gets himself player award, defensive rookie of the year. Oh, there you go. There's your star upgrade for winning that. And we get a big dev trade on Jahdae Barron. Superstar dev trade increase for the former first-round pick. It's not all good. Hoskins, you know, you always think everything's always going the right direction. He was superstar dev, a superstar dev nose tackle. We just lose the dev trait right away. So I love showing the hits, but we also got to show the misses to show that it's not just I get God rolls every single time and everything's peachy and sunshine and roses. Sometimes we get absolutely robbed as well. So look at our roster. Where do we need to get better? Because we have whatever remaining salary cap this offseason. Might as well spend it because it's going to be no good to us beyond this year. I mean, maybe more upside at wide receiver 3. Because we've shown that we can get 3,000-yard receivers. So if you have someone that's even better, that could be interesting. Corner 3, like a nickel corner with more upside. But other than that, man, this team is stacked. There was no good wide receiver role, but for corner, looking for a nickel. We have one of the better nickels in the league. A veteran in Marlon Humphrey trying to chase his first Super Bowl ring. And because of our focus scouting, we just need that wide receiver. Able to take a look here at Zach Knoll, who's a legit first-round talent out of Notre Dame. Pretty good letter grades. Combine is solid. Love that vertical. Need to get him. He's currently projected to go pick 22. I want pick 21. The cost of moving up 11 spots in the draft is our second-round pick this year and second-round pick next year, which doesn't exist. But with the aggressive trade-up, we are able to secure the services of the best available player on our board, Zach Knoll out of Notre Dame. First-round talent, so I'm going to assume he's probably a top 20, top 10, number 8 in true value at 21. And we finally hit on a rookie with a hidden dev trait in the first round. So take a look at the draft recap. 76 hidden dev for Zach Knoll. Rest of the draft, I mean, especially after we traded our second-round pick, just depth, whatever spots we didn't have salary cap to fill out in free agency is kind of where we targeted. We got Benz here, big-time speedster out of Rice with that 96 acceleration. But I'm excited to see what Knoll will be able to do as a rookie. He will start as our wide receiver 3 and play on the outside because Puka's in the slot. And oh, he's looking in these generated classes for fun, unique players. And look at that. They got themselves a Jason Kelsey regen for the 49ers. 82 center. Those are uncommon. Looks pretty damn good. So our team year 5 is we look to run it back. I mean, we didn't lose anybody. We went out and added a legitimate stud in the first round at wide receiver. And I don't really see much that can stop this team from repeating. And then at year number 5, I honestly thought for a second, like, we missed the playoffs. 12-5 gets us our first 1 seed of the video, our 3rd straight NFC West title, just completely dominating the division. I almost feel like sometimes at 12-5, we missed the playoff. I don't think we ever missed the playoffs at 12-5, but, you know, we've definitely missed the playoffs 10-7. Not too far away from that, but we will very much take that offensively, kind of middle of the mall. Regressed a little bit from having the #1 passing offense, #1 overall offense, but the defense, $500 million pass rush, played their asses off this year. Let's see our stats. Mr. Lagway, I mean, still pretty solid. 4,300 yards, 37 touchdowns, 9 picks. Like kind of more of a Matt Stafford stat line versus what we had last year. Kyron Williams starting to show signs of regression just a little bit. On a receiving standpoint, Cooper Kupp, 1,500 yards, 20 touchdowns, God mode. 1,000 yards for A. Minor. Null, the rookie, with 9 and 2. Defensively, Spates was a tackle machine. 23 sacks from Micah Parsons. 9 from Jared Verse, 6.5 from Turner, 5.5 from Fisk. And our interception numbers led by Desricks with 3 picks. Free agent signing Marlon Humphrey with 2. For award season, we get Offensive Player of the Year and Wide Receiver of the Year for Puka Nacua. Defensive Player of the Year and Linebacker of the Year for Micah Parsons. All right, so our chance to defend our title and close this thing out with 2 Super Bowls, I think we deserve it. Like, some rebuilds, it's like, oh, it's house money, it's awesome, it's a nice little extra cherry on top if you can get multiple Super Bowls. This is one that our team is stacked, and if anything's right in the world, we would win another one. We are the best team. We've built the best team. We start in the division round after having a first round bye, freshly rested against the Bears and Caleb Williams. We barely win, but it's that defense. 3 sacks, Micah Parsons, $500 million shutting down Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears. And we are back in the NFC Championship game against the 11-6 Minnesota Vikings, who have a top 10 offense. You know what they bring to the table? Got J.J. McCarthy panning out. That's actually going to be probably, that might be one of the next rebuilds, because I know it's fun rebuilds, a.k.a. I know there's good playbooks. With Sam Darnold looking like he's out the building. J.J. McCarthy on the Vikings is an interesting rebuild to hit up next. If that's what you guys want to see, let me know in the comment section below. If you want to see any other team, let me know in the comment section below. But Super Bowl on the line. McCarthy versus Lagway. Oh, yeah, baby. 31-21. I don't want to see that. Hey, look at that. I will say, McCarthy, enjoy first ballot on the Pro Bowl, buddy. Because we're going to the Super Bowl. DJ Lagway, 4 touchdowns. Let's go. Other names to appreciate this monumental victory. I bet you it was probably Puka Nacua that just was unstoppable. Not really. Modest by his standards and what he's been able to set here in this reel. We get a second half from Micah Parsons. No picks. I mean, wasn't a dominant performance, but we get to go meet Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens in the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl set against the 12-5 Baltimore Ravens. As you can see, pretty much every single category, we are better than them. But they did score more points offensively than us. They do have a better rushing yards per game than us. They do have Lamar Jackson. We're repeating. Lagway versus Jackson. Should be a good one. Looking to repeat as Super Bowl champions, the LA Rams. Against the Ravens, who, I mean, we stole away Marlon Humphrey because he couldn't get a ring with the Ravens. It's a little bit of a revenge game, and Baltimore starts out hot, kicking the crap out of us in the first half. I don't think we've crossed midfield, but if they did that in the first half, 20 points, we have more than enough talent to get 20 points and pitch a shutout. Now, fucking settling for a field goal, down 17-0. We just got our cheeks clapped. The Baltimore Ravens liked a bunch of our Instagram posts. We went in the DMs, started flirting for a little bit, went on a first date, and they said, oh, this Rams looks pretty easy on this first date. Maybe come back to my place. And this Rams team went into the bedroom and got our cheeks clapped. Looking at the stats of what we were able to accomplish here in this 5-year rebuild. 13,000 yards passing, 123 touchdowns For the X Factor, DJ Lagway. We got just under 8,000 yards rushing, 73 touchdowns from Kyron Williams. Very solid. I will say, maybe underperformed slightly from where I thought he was going to be, but was never really a liability. Puka Kupp, absolute cheat code. 6 seasons in the NFL, and he's over 10,000 yards, 121 touchdowns. If he plays, literally, if you're just going by double, he doesn't slow down, I could easily see 20,000 and over 200 touchdowns for Puka. Disgusting, man. 5,300 yards, 36 touchdowns from the Canadian Alec Aoumanor. Love bringing him in. I honestly keep eyes on him, Rams fans, in real life. I think he'd be an absolute prime target. Perfect scheme fit for McVay offense. Defensively, homegrown talent. It's Spates with over 600 tackles. We got 129 sacks, Micah Parsons, 62.5 from Kobe Turner, 58 from Jared Verse, 53 from Fisk. Our pass rush is on point for a 3-4 defense. Usually I absolutely hate a 3-4 defense, and more often than not, I have to change the scheme into a 4-3 so that we can have our pass rushers get after the quarterback. But when you can stay in a 3-4 and it works, now maybe because I put $500 million into it to make it work, but it worked nonetheless. I'm very happy with those numbers. Barron with 11 interceptions as well was a good pick, and finally developed after drafting him as a normal dev. Dev traits don't mean everything, because eventually they will develop nicely, and he's a superstar corner. So there you have it. This is our Madden 25 realistic rebuild of the LA Rams. It was the most requested team by you guys, especially with the Cooper Kupp trade scenario and what the future may hold with Matt Stafford. And it was great. I mean, when you can do these rebuilds with teams that play really, really well, and it's just like, can you find some talent, put them in the right position, and the rest will take care of itself. Like with the Rams playbook, it makes things a little bit easier. We don't have to manipulate. We don't have to fire coaching staffs and try to find a winning combination. The winning combination already exists with such a good head coach in McVay. We just had to find the pieces, and those pieces were DJ Lagway, Aoumanor, putting Puka in the slot, and drafting the defense and just a $500 million pass rush. No big deal. But that'll do it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As always, if it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Working our way slowly to the next channel goal of 180,000 subscribers here on the channel. Please let me know in the comment section below what realistic rebuild you guys want to see next. Again, update. This is now Thursday. I started this video on Wednesday and said Pink Slips is coming soon. My modder has not yet given me back my Pink Slips file because there was a Madden title update. And every time there's a title update, every single mod for Madden has to kind of get remade in a way. I don't think it's a super strenuous process, but my modder's kind of backed up right now. So I don't, unfortunately, have an ETA for Pink Slips. I'm going to say right now, at worst, some point in the weekend, and then I'll probably prioritize that series for a little bit and get a couple episodes out, maybe back-to-back, to get things going there. But I know everyone's going to be, where's Pinks, where's Pinks, where's... I literally, Madden broke my mod for Pink Slips, so I can't touch it till that gets fixed. So, honestly, I'm probably just going to start recording a new 20-year rebuild. Not sure which team. I had a lot of people saying Jets, a lot of people saying Dolphins. I'll probably look at both those rosters and flip a coin. But that likely will be what's next. But for a realistic rebuild, let me know in the comment section below what team you want to see and what college players you want featured on that rebuild. And I'll go with the top one that the community wants to see. So that'll do it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. And until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out, love ya. Have a good one.